Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone. This is Frank DeMora, the author of the book The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, here at the End Times Research Ministry. And now, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is starting to travel to the United States to make an address to the Congress, I want to point out some of the things that I warned about in the past, because what we're seeing is a fulfillment of my warning that I got based on what I know from the Word of the Lord, and I wanted to pass this on to anybody that was interested in hearing about it. Now, first of all, I want to just bring to light what the prophet Zechariah said, because this is a warning about, obviously, the last days and how the nations of the world were going to come against Israel in the last days. And of course, this would be one of the major signs that Jesus Christ would be returning shortly. It says this in Zechariah 12:3, "And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it." In verse 9 it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem." So there are the two scriptures that I've referenced, and we know that it is happening. Slowly but surely, over the past decade, people have become more anti-Semitic. We've seen, especially in the latter part of 2014 and now moving into 2015, we're seeing the trend go against Israel, and it's not by coincidence. These are one of the last day signs. I'm going to bring you back to a post that I put up November the 23rd of 2014, and it had to do with Barack Obama in Israel. And I was writing at that time about what was going on between Israel and Iran, and how Israel has stated that they wanted to go in and take out the Iranian nuclear facility to stop the quest that the Iranians have to get a nuclear bomb that Israel believes that will be used against them. And at that time, I've been warning, even before I posted that November the 23rd, 2014 post, I've been warning what to expect from Barack Obama. Now, in the beginning of this post that I put up, it says this, I'll just quote myself: "There is another earthquake coming that I have been warning you about, and that is coming to conflict between Israel and Iran. For the past 6 years, I've been trying to get you to see God's word concerning Ezekiel 38 prophecy is heading toward us with great speed. Below you will see some of my warnings, knowing President Obama will do nothing concrete to stop Iran's quest to get a nuclear bomb to be used against Israel. I have warned you that Israel have to take action against Iran to stop them from getting a device that would wipe out the state of Israel." And I cited many of my warnings down here. You'll see one of them: Iran will never stop their quest for a nuclear bomb. Now, I gave this warning. I've been talking about it for 6 years, and now we're at a critical junction where Israel has stated that they were going to go in and take out the nuclear facilities. And of course, if the United States has always been a friend of Israel, like they have, almost every single president that we know of in the modern ages has been a friend of the nation of Israel until Barack Hussein Obama stepped on his platform. And I told you that this is what he was going to do. He was going to go against Israel. I showed in many of my posts a picture of Barack Obama stabbing Israel in the back. So on November the 14th of 2013, let me just show you one of my warnings. Again, this is dealing with Zechariah. I put the scripture up there, and you'll see I put up a picture of Obama's hand stabbing Israel in the back. And the reason why I'm doing this is to show you that Israel is in jeopardy. And the United States, who is supposed to have been their ally, is really no longer their ally as long as President Obama is in office. Now, anyone who has watched the news probably heard this new report that just came out, and March the 1st, that was yesterday, where it says, report, Obama threatened to shoot down the IAF Iran strike. Now, IAF, for those of you who may not know, is the Israeli Air Force. So there were plans, in short, this is what the article tells us, there were plans, in short, Benjamin Netanyahu was going to send over his Air Force and bomb the facilities, like I said, that they were going to have to do. And the man, Barack Hussein Obama, stepped in and again stabbed Israel in the back and said that he was going to shoot down our allies' planes. That would be the Israeli planes. And this is dangerous, to say the least, not only because of Zechariah, what we see there, but we know that the Lord said that anybody that comes against Israel, that he was going to destroy those people. And so when you have a president of the United States threatening that he's going to attack Israel, better get prepared for consequences of the action, because this is serious business when you're dealing with the nation that God chose to sanctify his name. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, just go back and read Ezekiel chapter 38, where the Lord set aside a battle, a huge battle, with many of the Muslim nations, including Russia, to try to wipe out the nation of Israel. God shows us in that chapter, both chapters actually, 38 and 39, that he had set the specific date for that battle to show the world that he was in control and he was going to sanctify his name through the tiny nation of Israel by defeating a massive army that would come against Israel in the latter days. So whatever speech that you're going to hear from the President of the United States talking about how he's friends with Israel, it would be a lie. He is not a friend of Israel. Now, it is dangerous because when you say you're an ally and you do the exact opposite of what a real ally would do, then, as I said, you're going to end up paying the consequences, especially when you're coming against the nation of Israel. Now, the contention between Israel's Prime Minister and Barack Hussein Obama is getting worse. And tomorrow the Prime Minister will be in the United States to address the Congress. And of course, we saw the friction in the news. If you go and look at that news, you'll see that Barack Hussein Obama wanted to throw in his 2 cents before the Prime Minister Israel addressed the Congress. So at this point, the only hope that we have is that the Republican Congress would embrace Israel as a true ally and thwart anything that Barack Hussein Obama wants to do against Israel, including threatening our supposed ally that we're going to shoot out your jets who are on their way to try to stop a people who have stated many times that they want to wipe the tiny nation of Israel off the face of the map. Now, as far as Obama and the Iranian deal, New York Post came out with an article yesterday why Obama's Iran deal is a path to war. The Obama administration and its supporters insist that, although the agreement on Iran's nuclear program now taking shape may not be perfect, the only alternative is war with Iran. A failure of the nuclear talks, they also contend, would sacrifice important temporary agreements that now restrict Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons. Both arguments are false. Worse, the nuclear deal that the administration is pursuing may make war with Iran more likely. The world would be safer if the nuclear talks with Iran were stopped now. The agreement being negotiated reportedly would last 10 years and would leave Iran able to build multiple nuclear bombs in about 3 months. Administration leaks describe a deal that lets Iran keep on enriching uranium with as many as 6,500 centrifuges and continue to work on the heavy water reactor that will be a source of plutonium. Such an agreement would destabilize the Middle East, launching a regional nuclear arms race as Iran's Muslim rivals seek to match its capabilities and perhaps prompting an Israeli airstrike on Iranian nuclear facilities. And this is what I've been saying. I've been saying this because Israel knows that if no one does anything to stop Iran, they will continue on just as they've been doing, as they've been talking to Barack Hussein Obama for the past 6 years. And the only thing that Obama has done is allow the Iranians more time after time, just extending these deadlines so that they could actually fulfill their desires and get a possession of a nuclear bomb. And that is dangerous, very dangerous. It is so dangerous that Israel knows it will have to react. They cannot afford not to react. They have the images of Adolf Hitler and how he started, and we have the same kind of verbiage coming out of the Iranian government to destroy all the Jews and wipe out the nation of Israel. Israel will have to move. And I think that's one of the main reasons why you're going to see the speech from the Prime Minister of Israel talk about the president's plan for Iran and how dangerous it is. Now, we do know that war is coming. That's a given. It says it right there, both wars in Psalm 83 and Ezekiel 38. And Iran is one of the major players coming against Israel. So we see for sure prophecy is moving towards us very rapidly, and Barack Obama is not in the right position. He is not in the right standings with God. He's at the other end of the rainbow, if you will, if you get my drift. And he is putting the United States in jeopardy with that kind of position. And what I mean by position is one against God, one against God's people, one of not being a true ally with Israel. It's one thing to say, yes, we're friends, like he has done so many times in the press, but then it's another thing to watch his actions. That's the most important part. And his actions show, without a doubt, he is truly not a friend with Israel, and he has great disdain for the Prime Minister of Israel, and God only knows what kind of lengths that he would go to try to stop the Prime Minister's actions into Iran. So these are very trying times. Watch what they do here, because it could really take a huge toll on America. We've seen countless times where America saw huge devastation, natural forces, if you will, that came out after, where American leaders went against Israel. And if you wanted to read about those, you can go into my book under God's Curse and read all of those particular cases where we saw natural disasters come on those people who tried to come against Israel in the latter days. So if I were you, take the time, if you can, watch the Prime Minister as he addresses the Congress and see what he says. Very, very interesting. This is Frank DeMora from the End Times Research Ministry.